Under the full red glow of the blood moon, villagers prepare for the ancient ceremony. The firelight flickers, casting shadows as men and women chant in unison. Ritual drums beat, their rhythm the heartbeat of the village. Elders stand at the center, their faces grim, watching the villagers gather. The night is sacred. This is the night the old ways will be honored. The elders make their way to the offering stone, where the chosen one will be bound and laid. The villagers whisper, amongst themselves, casting nervous glances at the dark sky. In the air, there is a sense of fear. Fear of the unknown and fear of the wrath of the gods if the ritual is not performed perfectly. Suddenly the drums falter. A young man, his face pale with terror, is pulled forward instead of the expected. Eldest son. The village freezes. This is not the chosen one. The wrong blood will stain the earth tonight. A murmur of confusion ripples through the crowd. What is this? Someone cries out. The elders exchange uneasy glances, their hands trembling as they try to maintain control. The moon's light grows colder, sharper, as if it knows the balance has been broken. The young man shakes, his hands bound to the altar. Desperation fills his eyes, but there is no mercy in the ritual tonight. His name is unspoken, his fate sealed by the ancient rules that no one dares question. From the edge of the village, a figure watches. Cloaked in shadows, this outsider observes the unfolding chaos, his eyes burning with an unknown intent. He stands apart from the ritual, not one to be known or acknowledged by the villagers. His presence, uninvited and unnoticed, adds weight to the tension in the air. The drums stop completely. The villagers shift uneasily, feeling his gaze from afar, but no one dares approach him. His silence is as powerful as the moon itself, and in his stillness there is something dangerous, something not of this world. Kofi stands among the villagers, torn between the tradition he's been taught and his growing sense of justice. The moon's glow burns into his skin, but his mind is elsewhere, on the young man lying at the altar, and on the elders who perform this ritual as though it is the only way. He steps forward, watching the elders with a fire in his eyes. This is wrong, he thinks, but the words stick in his throat. The villagers turn to him, sensing his internal struggle. Should he remain silent and allow the ritual to continue, or should he speak out and challenge the very core of his community's beliefs? In the silence that follows, Kofi makes his choice. He will speak, but his voice trembles as it breaks the night's sacred quiet. Kofi strides forward, pushing past the elders with a fire that cannot be contained. This will not happen, he declares. The villagers gasp, their eyes wide as they turn toward him. The elders' faces harden, and a ripple of shock spreads. Kofi has dared to defy the ritual. The young man at the altar trembles, unsure whether to feel relief or fear. The elder who is closest to Kofi speaks coldly. You are a fool, Kofi. You dishonor the gods with your words. But Kofi does not flinch. The gods will not demand blood this night, he declares, stepping closer to the altar as if daring the gods to strike him down. As Kofi stands his ground, the whispers of the villagers rise. There is more to this, they murmur. The moon demands more than just blood. They speak in hushed tones, fearful of the curse they know is tied to this ritual. In the back of the crowd, one voice rises above the rest. The blood moon. It was never meant to appease the gods. It was meant to keep us bound. Kofi listens, his heart pounding in his chest. The truth is emerging, but it is dark and dangerous. The ritual, meant to protect the village, has a darker purpose, one that has been hidden for generations. The outsider steps forward, his voice low and hypnotic. You do not know the true power of the blood moon. If you stop the ritual now, You will unleash something that cannot be controlled. Kofi turns to the figure, suspicion in his eyes. And you think you know what will happen? You are not of this land. The outsider smiles, but there is no warmth in it. You are mistaken. The blood moon is not a curse. It is a binding force. The old ways must be followed, or you will invite destruction. Kofi hesitates. The outsider's words are both a warning and a threat, but can they be trusted? Standing before the altar, Kofi is faced with the decision of his life: to honor the past and obey the ritual, risking everything, or to defy it, knowing the consequences may be worse than he can imagine. The villagers watch, holding their breath. His father's voice echoes in his mind. The ritual keeps us safe. The gods must be honored. But Kofi sees beyond the ritual now. He knows the true safety comes, not from blind obedience, but from breaking the chains of tradition. I choose, Kofi says, and his voice is a storm. I will not let fear rule us anymore. As Kofi makes his choice, the blood moon shines brighter, its light now a blinding force. The ground trembles beneath their feet, and the sky above crackles with power. Kofi's decision has awakened something ancient, something that was always meant to be kept hidden. The earth groans as if in protest, and a voice like thunder fills the air. The price has been set. The blood moon demands its due. Kofi stands firm, but he knows the truth now. The night is far from over. The real test has only just begun. Kofi stands alone on the edge of the village, watching the horizon darken as the sun sets. The village is quiet, but in his mind, the noise of the approaching blood moon is deafening. He loves this place, his home, but his heart grows heavy with doubt. The traditions that have kept the village safe for generations now feel like chains. The Ikdo voices of the elders echo in his ears, telling stories of the past, of victories won through sacrifice. But something stirs deep within him, something that questions the cost of it all. He thinks of the young man from the ritual. Was his life really a price worth paying? Kofi shakes his head, trying to quiet the thoughts, but they linger, gnawing at his conscience. Kofi finds his father sitting alone outside their hut, staring into the fire. The flickering light reflects the stern, weathered face of the elder, the same man who once taught him the ways of the village. Kofi approaches, his footsteps hesitant. I need to know, Kofi says, his voice low but firm. Why do we continue this ritual? Why must we sacrifice? The elder does not look at him. The ritual is our duty. You must trust in it, my son. But Kofi can feel the weight of the words left unsaid. The fire crackles, filling the silence. Kofi presses on, but his father remains distant, hiding behind his authority. The deeper truth, whatever it may be, remains locked away in the elder's eyes. Ama walks beside Kofi, her eyes distant. The bond they share is unspoken but strong. But tonight something feels different. I don't understand, Kofi says, breaking the silence. Why can't you see it, Ama? The ritual is wrong. Ama hesitates, her voice tight with conflict. I have to do this, Kofi. My family, the elders, they depend on me. It's not just about us anymore. Kofi's heart aches. The woman he loves is torn between the life she knows and the one she could have with him. Their paths diverge, and he knows that no matter how much he wishes it otherwise, one of them must be left behind. As the days pass, the village falls into a restless silence. The drums are prepared, the offering stones polished. The blood moon is near. Kofi's father speaks in hushed tones with the other elders, their words sharp and clipped. The blood moon demands its due, Kofi's father says cryptically, his voice low. It's not just a ritual, it's the village's salvation. The villagers gather, their faces tight with fear and anticipation. Kofi listens from the shadows, his mind racing. The blood moon isn't just a celestial event. It is a force, a power. But what kind of power does it truly hold? Kofi and Amma meet by the edge of the forest, their usual place of peace, now filled with tension. The air between them crackles with unspoken words. "Amma, please," Kofi implores. "I need you to see. The blood moon is not our savior. It's a trap. We'll be caught in it forever." Emma's eyes flash with pain. "You're wrong, Kofi. It's the only way to protect us. You don't understand. You can't just—" She stops herself, biting back the words she knows could tear them apart. But it's too late. The rift has already formed. Kofi hides behind the wall of the elder's hut, listening to the voices inside. He can hear Amma's family speaking to the council, the words sharp and calculating. The ritual must go forward, one of the council members insists. Without it, the village will fall into chaos. We cannot afford to lose control. But the villagers are questioning it, Amma's father says. If Kofi doesn't conform, others will follow. We must be prepared for that. Kofi's heart pounds in his chest as he listens. The elders are not just following tradition. They are manipulating it, using the ritual to maintain power over the village. The truth has come crashing down on him like a thunderstorm. Late that night, Kofi's father pulls him aside. The firelight dances in his eyes, casting shadows on his face. "Kofi," his father says, his voice low and urgent, "you must not challenge the ritual. It is dangerous." Kofi's heart skips. "What do you mean, father? What danger?" The elder's eyes harden, and for the first time, Kofi sees something different, a fear buried beneath years of authority. "Some truths are better left unspoken," his father mutters, his hand gripping Kofi's arm tightly. "You do not understand what you are playing with." The warning hangs in the air like smoke. Kofi seeks out the oldest elder, hoping for answers. The ancient man sits by the river, his eyes clouded with age. "The blood moon," the elder begins, his voice hoarse. "The last time it rose, a neighboring tribe was destroyed. The ritual cursed them. They thought it would save them, but it only bound them to the god's wrath." Kofi shudders, his mind reeling. The blood moon is not a gift. It is a curse, a cycle that must be broken. The outsider returns, standing at the edge of the village once more. His eyes scan the crowd, locking onto Kofi's with a knowing gaze. "The blood moon will bring death," the outsider says, his voice a whisper carried by the wind. "But not the death you expect." Kofi steps forward, his fists clenched. "Who are you? What do you know?" The outsider's lips curl into a shadow of a smile. "More than you think. The blood moon rises, its light casting an eerie glow over the village." Kofi stands at the center of the gathering, his heart racing, faces his father, Amma, and the village council. The weight of tradition presses down on him. The path is clear. Follow the ritual and protect the village, or defy it and risk everything. The moon's light pulses, filling the air with a cold, foreboding presence. Kofi takes a deep breath. His decision will change everything. "Tonight," he declares, his voice steady, "I will not follow this path." The village is in the midst of the ritual when Kofi steps forward, his voice steady but full of conviction. The drums beat louder, the chants grow more intense, but Kofi stands firm. His eyes lock on the elder leading the ceremony, his heart pounding as he knows what he's about to do. "This ends now," he shouts, his words cutting through the air like a knife. Gasps ripple through the crowd. The villagers turn to him, shocked, unsure of what to make of his defiance. The elder pauses, his eyes narrowing, recognizing the challenge in Kofi's gaze. "Stop the ritual," Kofi demands. "This is not the way." The elders exchange tense glances. The council members step forward, their faces hard with anger. Kofi's heart races, but he stands his ground. knowing this moment will change everything. That night, as Kofi walks through the quiet village, he feels a strange pull. He finds the outsider, waiting in the shadows, his eyes glowing faintly in the moonlight. "You disrupted the ritual," the outsider says, his voice like wind through dry grass. "But the truth is not what you think." Kofi steps closer, uncertainty clouding his mind. "What do you know about it? What is this ritual really for?" "The blood moon is not just a sign of sacrifice," the outsider reveals. "It is a link to the gods, a way to control their power, to twist the fate of men. But the gods are not meant to be controlled." Kofi's mind races. "Then what is the true will of the gods?" The outsider's smile is unsettling. "To break free. The village is shackled by their chains, and you hold the key to the lock." Kofi can't shake the outsider's words, and as the days pass, he digs deeper into the ritual's origins. Late one night, he sneaks into the elder's hut, seeking answers. The elder doesn't look up when Kofi enters. "You think you can stop it?" he asks, voice heavy with a lifetime of regret. "I need to understand," Kofi presses. "Why does the ritual demand blood? What does it control?" The elder sighs, finally meeting Kofi's gaze. "It controls the ancient force, the power that has kept our village safe for centuries. But to control it, we must offer up a life. The gods take what they are owed." Kofi stumbles back, his mind reeling. The village's safety, its prosperity, all come at a terrible cost. Kofi meets with Amma by the river, his heart heavy with the weight of the truth. "Amma," he says, his voice shaking with a mix of fear and anger. "I know about your family. You're part of it. You're part of the council's dark dealings, aren't you?" Amma looks away, tears welling in her eyes. "I didn't want this, Kofi. I didn't choose it. But my family has ties to the ritual. We've been part of it for generations." Kofi feels betrayed, his heart torn. "Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you warn me?" Amma's voice cracks. "I couldn't. I thought if we stayed quiet, if we followed the ritual, everything would be fine. But now I see the cost of it all." Kofi steps back, his hands trembling. He's caught between the woman he loves and the truth that could tear them apart. Kofi's world shatters as he confronts his father, the one man he thought he could trust above all others. "You knew about the ritual," Kofi accuses, his voice bitter. "You were part of it. You've been hiding the truth from me all this time." His father's face hardens, his hands trembling as he lowers his head. "I am." Kofi's chest tightens. "What do you mean, father? What did you do?" The elder's voice is filled with pain. "There was a time when I was the one chosen to make the sacrifice. I led the blood moon ritual, but it wasn't just the village that was at stake. It was the world itself." Kofi's heart sinks as the truth hits him. His father didn't just participate in the ritual, he was its architect. The man who taught him everything now feels like a stranger. The village elder, the one who had mentored Kofi and taught him the ways of the village, now stands before him, a broken man. "You were a fool to challenge the ritual," the elder spits, his voice cold. "But now you must understand. The ritual was never about saving the village. It was about power. Power over the gods, power over life and death. It was always the price." Kofi feels a sharp pang of betrayal. "What price, elder? What have you really been offering all these years?" The elder's eyes harden. "Lives. Our ancestors sacrificed, and we continue it to keep the village safe. But the power it gives us is finite. We need more to sustain it, and that's why we do what we do." Kofi's mind reels, his heart torn between wanting to stop the ritual and knowing the village's survival depends on it. Kofi seeks out the outsider again, his mind a storm of confusion. "You said you would help me stop the ritual. What do you want from me? The outsider looks at him with knowing eyes. I don't want anything, Kofi. I want the truth. The gods have their own will. They have been manipulated for too long. But I cannot do it alone. Kofi hesitates. How can I trust you? How do I know you're not part of the same game? The outsider smiles faintly. Because I don't play by their rules. I am not bound by the same chains they are. But you, Kofi, you are the key. Together we can break them. The blood moon rises high, casting an eerie glow over the village. As the ritual begins, Kofi feels the earth tremble beneath his feet. The skies darken, and the wind howls as if in pain. The true power of the ritual is unleashed. The ancient curse, long dormant, awakens with a terrible roar. It is no longer a force controlled. It is a force running wild, threatening everything in its path. Kofi's heart races. We've made a mistake. It's too late. The outsider looks grim. Not yet, but you must act quickly before it consumes everything. Amma stands before Kofi, her eyes filled with uncertainty. I can't choose, Kofi, she whispers, tears streaking down her face. I love you, but my family. My duty is to them. Kofi reaches for her, his heart breaking. You don't have to choose. There's still a way out. We can stop this together. Amma shakes her head, the weight of her family's legacy bearing down on her. I can't. I'm bound to them. But you have the power to change it all. I can't hold you back. Her words stab into Kofi's soul as she turns away, leaving him standing alone. The village is on the brink of collapse, the curse threatening to destroy everything. Kofi stands at the center of it all, torn between the village's survival and the cost of the ritual. He faces his father, the elders, and Amma, his heart heavy with the weight of the choice before him. To protect or destroy? Kofi asks himself, his voice barely a whisper. With the blood moon high above, Kofi makes his decision, knowing that no matter what he chooses, everything will change. The sky darkens as the blood moon rises, its eerie glow casting a red hue over the village. The drums begin, the sound heavy and rhythmic, filling the air with anticipation. The villagers gather in silence, their eyes turned toward the sky, knowing this night will change everything. The elders, cloaked in their ceremonial robes, stand at the center, awaiting the moment when the sacrifice will be made. The tension is thick, the air electric with fear and reverence. It is a moment that has come every generation, but this time, something is different. There's a feeling that the blood moon will not pass quietly. The village is holding its breath, waiting for the ritual to begin. With a defiant stride, Kofi steps into the circle, his heart pounding as he faces the elders. The villagers fall silent, watching him with a mix of awe and fear. You have deceived us, Kofi's voice rings out, bold and full of fury. This ritual, these sacrifices, what have they really given us? What have you given us? The elder at the center of the group narrows his eyes, his voice calm but filled with authority. You speak foolishly, Kofi. The ritual is for the good of the village, to keep us safe. Safe? Kofi laughs bitterly. We've lived in fear, in darkness, while you've hidden the truth. Tonight I demand answers. No more lies, the villagers murmur, some uneasy, others in agreement. The elders exchange glances, knowing they cannot ignore Kofi's challenge. The elder steps forward, his face grave. You want the truth? The truth is that your father is the one who set this curse upon us. It was he who bound the gods with the blood moon, making us pay for safety that we could never truly own. Kofi stumbles back, his heart seizing in disbelief. My father? How could he do this? The elder's voice lowers. For power, Kofi. He sought power beyond our world, and in doing so, he condemned us all. The cycle began with him, and it will end with him unless you stop it. Kofi's hands tremble. He is trapped between the man he loved and the monster who betrayed his people. Amma approaches Kofi, her face a mixture of sorrow and determination. I knew about your father, Kofi. I knew the curse was his doing. Kofi's eyes widen. What? How could you not tell me? Amma's voice cracks with the weight of her confession. I was bound to my family's duty, Kofi. I had no choice but to protect their secrets. But I couldn't stand by and watch this anymore. I've been trying to undo the damage. Kofi's heart is torn. You've been working against me. Amma shakes her head, tears welling in her eyes. No, I've been working against the curse. I wanted to stop it, but I couldn't do it alone. Now we must make a choice. Together. The villagers gather, their eyes wide with shock as the truth unfolds. The ritual, they learn, is not just a sacrifice. It is a binding act, a pact with the gods that demands more than blood. Kofi steps forward, his voice trembling with anger. The blood moon is not just a symbol, it's a chain. It binds the gods to our will, and in doing so, it enslaves us all. The elder nods slowly, acknowledging the harsh reality. Your father made this pact, Kofi, and now we are all bound to it. The power it grants is the power to control fate itself, but at a cost. The villagers gasp, realization dawning on them. The peace they thought they had was only a facade, a fragile illusion that could crumble at any moment. Kofi stands at the center of the crowd, the weight of the truce pressing down on him. The moon above glows brighter, its fury threatening to burst forth. He looks at Amma, her face torn with conflict, then at the elders, their eyes filled with expectation. To destroy it would mean breaking the village apart. Kofi whispers, his voice heavy. But to keep it means more sacrifices, more blood. I cannot, the elder interrupts, his voice cold. If you destroy the ritual, you destroy the village. The gods will not forgive such an insult. Kofi's eyes harden. But if I allow it to continue, I condemn us all to an eternity of suffering. He raises his hand, a symbol of defiance. Tonight I will make the choice. The old ways must end. Amma takes Kofi's hand, her voice desperate. Please, Kofi, don't destroy it. Don't destroy everything we've known. You don't understand what's at stake. If the gods are angered, there will be no hope for us. Her words pierce his heart, but he cannot turn away. Amma, you know what must be done. The village cannot live under this curse forever. We have to break it. Tears spill from Amma's eyes as she steps back, her voice barely a whisper. I love you, Kofi, but my duty, my family's legacy, it binds me. I cannot let you destroy everything. Kofi's heart aches as he turns away, his mind made up. The truth is clear now. Kofi's decision is made. He lifts his arms, invoking the power of the blood moon to break the curse. A violent wind howls through the village as the moon reaches its zenith, its red light intensifying. The earth trembles, as if in protest, the sky darkening with the fury of ancient forces. The villagers cry out in terror as the ground cracks, a massive rift forming beneath their feet. The curse is unleashed, its power uncontrollable. The elders try to intervene, their voices raised in frantic incantations. But the power is too much. The earth trembles beneath them and the air crackles with energy. The ritual's power has slipped beyond their control. Stop him, the elder screams. The gods will destroy us. But Kofi stands firm, his gaze unwavering. The gods may be angry, but they will not have us anymore. Kofi faces the storm head-on, his heart racing as the world seems to tear apart around him. He knows this is the final test, the moment where everything could either be reborn or destroyed. With the moon's fury unleashed, and the village in chaos, Kofi makes his final stand. Will his actions bring about a new beginning, or will they lead to the end of everything he knows? The fate of the village, the gods, and the blood moon rests in his hands. The village lies in ruin, its heart torn between two worlds. Some mourn the old ways, the rituals, the blood moons, the gods who once protected them. They mourn the loss of the past, the traditions shattered by Kofi's defiance. Others stand in the ashes, their faces glowing with the hope of a future free from the curse, their voices loud in celebration. The tension is thick. There is no unity, only a painful divide. Some whisper curses against Kofi, blaming him for the destruction. Others call him a hero, a savior. The village is lost, caught between grief and hope, between the past and the uncertain future. Kofi walks through the village, his feet heavy with regret. The streets are littered with the remnants of the old ways, broken altars, scorched earth, empty homes. He feels their weight, the lives lost because of his choice. He wanted to break the curse, to free his people, but the cost was too high. He sees the mothers who mourn their sons, the families torn apart. The villagers' eyes are filled with pain, and though some have forgiven him, others cannot forget. Kofi is a man who has lost everything, the love of his people, the woman he cared for, and the peace of his own soul. The price of defiance is heavier than he ever imagined. Ama walks slowly beside Kofi, her eyes avoiding his. She is torn, her heart split between the love she once felt for him and the reality of the destruction caused by her family's actions. She cannot deny the hurt. The weight of her betrayal still hangs between them. She had wanted to undo the curse, but her allegiance to her family, to her duty, had made it impossible. She regrets the lies, the silence, the secrets, but she cannot change the past. She looks at Kofi, longing for reconciliation, but knowing that what they had is no more. "I am sorry," she whispers, but it feels hollow. The bond they once shared is broken, and the road to healing seems too long. Kofi stands before his father, his fists clenched, his heart a storm of emotions. The elder who once held power, wisdom, and love over him now stands accused of manipulating the village, of setting the curse upon them all. The truth weighs heavily on Kofi. His father is the one who sought power from the gods, binding the people in chains. "How could you?" Kofi's voice shakes with fury. "How could you do this to us? To me?" His father's eyes are cold, unreadable. "Power is a gift, Kofi. You are too weak to understand. I did what was necessary for the survival of our people." The words cut deep, but they do nothing to change the past. The villagers are furious, their chants of anger growing louder, but Kofi knows that no matter how much he hates his father now, it will never undo the years of manipulation, the deaths, the sacrifice. The villagers turn to Kofi, looking to him for guidance, for strength. They have seen his defiance, his courage, and now they expect him to lead them out of the darkness. But Kofi is unsure. He is not a leader. He never wanted to be. He wanted peace, not power. The weight of their hopes presses down on him, and for a moment he falters. He looks at the people, their faces full of expectation, and he feels the sting of his own doubt. But as he looks around, he realizes that there is no one else who can step forward. The village needs a leader to rebuild, to guide them toward a future free from the curse. The decision is his. He takes a deep breath, straightens his back, and nods. "I will lead," he says, his voice steady. "But we will rebuild together. I cannot do this alone." Ama watches Kofi, her heart aching. She has seen him take his place as the leader, but she is not sure where she fits in this new world. She wants to be by his side, to make amends, but the pain of her past actions is too great. Her loyalty to her family, to the traditions they upheld, still calls to her. But her heart longs for Kofi. She walks toward him, her steps hesitant. "Kofi," she begins, her voice soft. "I want to stay. I want to help rebuild. But can you forgive me? Can we heal together?" Kofi's gaze is unreadable as he looks at her. He is the leader now, but his heart is still heavy. "Ama, I don't know if I can forgive you," he admits. "You betrayed me, and I can't forget that." Ama's heart shatters, but she nods, accepting the truth. "Then I will go. I will return to my family to try and heal what was broken." Kofi watches her leave, feeling the weight of her decision. It is the end of their love, the end of what could have been. The village begins to rebuild, but the scars run deep. The land that was once fertile is now scarred by the power of the blood moon. The people work together, slowly but surely, to restore what was lost. The elders are no longer the unquestioned leaders. Now the villagers share the work, the burdens, the decisions. It is a hard road, filled with doubt and struggle, but there is a sense of hope now. The curse is gone, and with it, the oppressive weight that had held them captive. The future is uncertain, but the village will find its way, one day at a time. Though the curse is lifted, Kofi cannot shake the feeling that the blood moon's power is not entirely gone. Whispers of strange occurrences, of forces still lingering, fill the air. Some speak of dark shadows moving in the night. Others say the gods are not pleased, that there is more to the ritual than anyone understands. Kofi watches the sky, feeling the weight of these whispered secrets. The blood moon is gone, but its legacy remains. And there is something more, something he has yet to uncover. As the first light of dawn breaks, Kofi stands at the edge of the village, looking toward the horizon. He has led his people through the worst of it, but he knows the true test is yet to come. He faces a decision. Does he continue this path of leadership, of change, or does he step away, leaving the village to chart its own course? This people need him, but he wonders if he is ready for the burden. His heart beats loudly in his chest as he makes his choice. "I will lead," he says quietly to himself. "But I will never stop searching for the truth. The blood moon's legacy is not over." As the village begins to heal, a shadow moves through the trees at the edge of the settlement. Kofi and Ama, now distant, stand together for a brief moment, their eyes meeting. A figure in the distance catches their gaze, unfamiliar, dark, and watching. The blood moon's legacy is far from finished. There are still secrets to uncover, forces to confront. The danger is not over yet. The figure steps into the shadows, leaving the village uncertain of what comes next. Kofi sits by the remnants of the fire pit, the embers slowly fading into the night. His mind is heavy, burdened with the weight of the village's history. The rituals, the sacrifices, the blood moon, it all feels so distant now, yet it still lingers. He thinks of the elders who once told stories of the great power in tradition, how it kept them strong, protected them. But now the same traditions have brought destruction. The gods, once feared, now seem distant, their promises broken. He wonders if these old ways, once sacred, are worth preserving. Were they ever truly protecting the people, or were they holding them captive? A shiver runs down his spine. The truth is harder to accept than he ever imagined. Kofi stands at the edge of the village, watching the young ones play, their laughter filling the air. He feels a pang in his chest. These children have known nothing but change, the curse lifted, the rituals abandoned. They do not carry the weight of the past like he does. The elders whisper of their ancestors' strength, their unyielding traditions. But Kofi knows the cost of those ways. He fought against them, broke their chains, but did that make him the hero they believe him to be? Or was he just another force of destruction, tearing apart the very fabric that held the village together? He is torn. Should he honor the past, the ways of his ancestors, or forge a new past, one that might offer freedom but come with unknown dangers? His heart races as the decision looms over him, a heavy burden on his shoulders. Kofi walks through the village, the scars of battle still visible. He sees the elders, their faces etched with sorrow. They are lost, not just in the destruction of the village, but in the loss of the old ways they held so tightly. The youth are eager for progress, for a future, untethered from the past. But Kofi sees their impatience, their recklessness. Change is not easy. It demands sacrifice. He remembers the families who lost loved ones, the pain he caused. He wanted to free them, but in doing so, he has also torn apart the very things that once gave the village identity. The question presses. On him? Did he make the right choice? In breaking free from tradition, did he destroy the balance they once had? Progress is a double-edged sword, and now Kofi must live with the consequences of his actions. Ama approaches Kofi, her face worn with time and regret. They have both changed, shaped by the destruction and the choices they made. She speaks softly, her words carrying the weight of truth. You wanted freedom, Kofi. You wanted change, but freedom comes with a price. Kofi looks at her, the familiar pain in his chest tightening. I know, he says. But what choice did I have? The curse was killing us. It was killing me. Ama places a hand on his shoulder, her touch gentle yet firm. Change is necessary, but so is duty. You cannot ignore the needs of the community, the ways that have kept us strong. Freedom must bend to responsibility, but too much sacrifice can lead to ruin. Her words linger in the air and Kofi feels the weight of them. He has learned much, but he knows the lesson is not over. Kofi stands before the villagers, their eyes upon him, waiting for his decision. He has been through the fire, tested in ways he never imagined, and now he must lead them forward. He clears, his throat, his voice steady but filled with a new understanding. The past cannot be forgotten. It is who we are, but it cannot be the chains that bind us. We must honor our traditions, but we must also adapt. Our future depends on it. He looks out at the villagers, their faces full of uncertainty but also hope. I will lead, but I will lead with a new vision, one that respects the past, but embraces the future. Together we will rebuild, not just our homes, but our hearts, our minds, our community. A ripple of agreement spreads through the crowd, and Kofi feels the first real hope in months. The road ahead will not be easy, but it is a road he is ready to walk. As Kofi surveys the village, he cannot escape the feeling that something is missing. Something has been lost in the rush for progress. The land is healing, but the people are not fully whole. The weight of his decisions presses on him. He gave up so much for change, but did it truly bring the freedom he hoped for? The villagers speak of a brighter future, but Kofi knows that the past will always be a part of them, and the scars are deeper than they appear. He looks to the horizon, a deep question settling in his heart. Can one man's decision truly shape the future of an entire community? And if so, is it worth the cost? Kofi stands on the hill, watching the sunrise. The village is still rebuilding, but there is a new energy in the air. The young ones, full of excitement and hope, play and work together with the elders who have slowly begun to embrace change. Kofi realizes that his role is not to completely sever ties with the past, nor to cling to it blindly. His role is to be a bridge, a guide between the old ways and new possibilities. The future will be shaped by both, but it must be done carefully, with respect and wisdom. He has learned that change does not mean destruction. It means growth. And now, he will help his people find that balance, one step at a time.